Hey traders, John Hall here. Today we're going to be looking at the stock market, S&P 500, the Dow Jones and Nasdaq. What's happening right now is that we're in a bit of a do or die situation. Is this a fake rally before we drop down? We're going to be looking at that as well too. Be looking at the things to keep an eye out for to say, okay, if certain things happen, we're likely to make a move. This is on the short-term base, okay? So this is the short-term base. Also going to be looking at the overall big picture to really keep an eye on to see, okay, what's likely to happen on the big picture and some certain things to look out for to give you a bit of guidance on what's happening. So let's get straight into the markets. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, let's get straight into the stock market. We can see on the S&P 500 that if I start off with the, with the S&P 500, yesterday, I came on here and I talked about how that there's momentum a lot, or sometimes the market will give us, on a pullback in the markets, it'll give us some sort of an angle that when we break that angle, we're likely to then see a movement to the upside. So what I'm talking about here is this, right? You can see that in the last few times, notice these pullbacks here, right? Pullback here, and we've got a pullback here, right? So notice how we have those pullbacks in the markets. And you'll notice how these pullbacks in the markets, what happens is that a lot of the times it'll give us an angle that when we do break above that angle, it means that that pullback is likely to be coming to an end and we're likely to be continuing that overall bull market. So if we're in a bull market, we have a pullback. Bull market, pullback, bull market, pullback, bull market. Right now is a bit of a question mark, but I'll get to that in just a minute. All right, so I'm trying to show you what to look out for here. So as you can see, if I bring up my trend line now, you can see notice how when I draw my trend line through there, which just rejects this pullback, as soon as we got back above the resistance line, guess what? This pullback, we started to make a move up. Same from here to here, right? If I draw a trend line from there to there, or even more like maybe, let's actually just draw from there to there, right? We had this resistance point here, rejected it here. So this whole thing here was what? That was the pullback. And as soon as we actually broke back above, then we started to see a move back up. Same thing for here as well too. Same thing on this downside as well too, right? We had, remember, this is in a nice bull market. Then what? We start to go through a pullback. Okay, when is the pullback likely to be ending? And that is, once again, when we draw our trend lines from there to there, you can see how that, once again, it stays below here. And then then what actually happens was, once we broke it back above, then we rallied back above here, okay? Now, guys, what I'm teaching you right now is just simple chart reading technical analysis, okay? This is chart reading strategies. I wouldn't trade based just purely off this. You really, really, really need a good trading system, like a really good proven trading system, especially right now in this market. If you'd like to learn my personal trading system, how I trade, all the details for free, very first thing in the description, click on that. I've recorded the brand new training. Also walking you through the 3 secrets that you must know in order for you to generate a good income from trading. So very first thing in the description, guys, click on that. You'll be able to see my trading system. But when we're actually looking at the markets here, we can see that this is what's going on, right? We continue to see here. So looking at this overall big pullback right now, we can see the same thing, right? We had this downward movement. We had a very big pullback. And look what happened today. It did what? It rejected it. So initially, it's like, okay, then short term, what is this? We have to wait and see. We get a bit more data, okay? And it is okay. In fact, right now, guys, the market's very volatile. So it's okay to step back. Breathe, relax. Well, it's all in the bag. It's all good, right? Relax. The worst thing you're going to do is be jumping into a whole bunch of BS that you know you shouldn't be in, which is going to send your account that way. And then suddenly come November, December, when the market is trending and giving you nice signals, you're missing out on that because now you're too afraid to get in the markets. Make sense? So this is that's that edge of a trader. That's that mindset of a trader, right? Willing to be patient while there's not much happening. Sit back, relax. It's gonna be okay, right? It's gonna be good. Same for me, guys, right? Same thing, right? Sit back. It's been very, very, very quiet. Now I'm actually in the market right now. I'm still in the energy sector, and for you guys that know, I've been in the energy sector now for just over a month, and those call options in the energy sector have just gone absolutely just crazy to the upside. So I'm actually in the market right now in positions because I've had no reason to get out of that, right? Let my profits run, cut my losses short. But we can see what's happening through there. So it's a bit of a do or die situation. Now, is what's happening around the world going to create a lot more havoc? And if so, we're probably going to get something like this. And if we get that, and then we get a drop down like that, if we get something like this where we get a high and then another lower high, and then we start to break these lows here, we get that pattern, guys, that's when we can start to see probably a 10 to maybe 15% drop on the downside. Probably about a 10% drop on the downside. So that's the first scenario. Do we correct that pattern? If so, then we get this here, then we now have a good probability of doing that. If we start to get back above and we start to break back above these highs up here, guys, we start to do something like this and we close back above here, guess what? Downtrend is over, and we're now likely to be maybe even have a bit of a pullback through here and then continue racing up to all-time new highs, moving in through to the rest of the month, and then moving into November and December, we're going to see the Santa Claus is coming to town. And probably, so that's what I'm seeing through there. So that's the short-term picture. But it's important to keep an eye on that big long-term picture. What is that big long-term picture? The big picture says this, okay? I really want you to relax. This is where being alert in the markets, because as these markets are pulling back, remember guys, this is the big picture, right? This is not talking about like an actual trading strategy. Again, if you are after a really good high probability trading strategy, I've actually just put together a training for you, walking you through all the details to how I trade the markets. That is massively successful. So very first thing in the description, you can get that for free. But looking at the markets, right, what's the big picture say? Big picture says this. Maybe the debt ceiling is creating a bit of havoc.Maybe what's happening in overseas, the banks and Evergrande and all that sort of stuff is creating a bit of havoc in the markets, right? So if we do see that pullback of 10%, it's not a time to panic. It is not a time to be fearful in the markets. Because guess what's going to happen? We need to keep an eye out for what? When do they get the $3.5 trillion package spent or passed? Because once that happens, what has happened every single time in history when the market's done that? So we get a 10% pullback. We're watching and waiting to say, okay, we now just got this big stimulus package passed. If the low won't be that day, but within a good 6 to 12 months, look what happened in COVID, right? So in the COVID situation, I hope I don't get banned for that, but you know, in that cough situation last year, guess what happened? The market rallied down, and then bam, right? They came back in, a massive stimulus package, and then guess what happened? 12 months later, you saw what happened, right? If we get another 10% pullback and they throw as much or maybe even more when you look at the total package at the markets, guess what's going to happen, right, guys? So if we do get that 10% pullback, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. So make sure you keep an eye out for that, guys. So there we go, guys. That's a small picture of what to look out for. Once again, guys, I have just put together a training for you of the 3 secrets that you must know in order for you to become really good at trading. Now, secret number 1 is the one thing I had to do from losing money for 5 years to then actually making a full-time income. Secret number 2 is my trading system. And secret number 3 is how I went from trading 16 hours a day to now trading only 1 hour per day, but actually making more money from trading, and how I actually do that using very simple automation tools and so on and so forth. So link in the description, guys. Click on that. You're going to absolutely love it. You're going to walk you through all the details. So go do that right now, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.